and welcome back. If you saw my last YouTube video, you will know that I recently quit my hand embroidery business Instagram account. If you haven't seen it, go check that out first. But let me tell you, since doing that, I am feeling great. I feel like a giant weight has been lifted from my shoulders. I don't know what it feels like to retire, but I feel like I just retired. And overall, I just feel like I am so free to do whatever the heck I want. Which I honestly feel like it feels so weird to feel this, because it's like I'm still making hand embroidery patterns, I'm still uploading them to Etsy, I'm still making YouTube videos. The only thing that has changed is that I've removed myself from Instagram, and yet it feels like my whole world has changed. And I think that really speaks to how draining and just how much work Instagram is. I'm not gonna lie though, I do feel pretty weird because since removing myself, like I have made a new pattern, and I feel like I need to tell somebody that I made something new and they can go buy it, somebody besides my husband. So it does feel a little bit weird. And I feel like what I've done without really realizing it, like I knew what I was doing when I removed myself from the platform, and I'm grateful I did. But at the same time, I feel like when I put it this way in my mind, it sounds really bad. And that's basically that since removing myself from Instagram, I've basically cut myself off from my audience, which sounds really bad, but I'm not gonna lie, I like it. It feels good to not have that weight on my shoulders. And the weight that's been lifted off my shoulders is no longer having to cater to my audience or giving someone a play-by-play of exactly every single little thing I'm doing. And I feel like maybe it's bad to word it this way, but I also feel like it depicts what you really have to do on Instagram to stay connected, and that's kind of this feeling of like having to babysit my audience. So anytime I made a new pattern or made a new YouTube video, I would have to make a new post or I would have to make a new reel. So I would upload that. Once that's posted, I would then share that to my story. After sharing it to my story, I would then have to go find that photo on my camera roll or that YouTube thumbnail that I would screenshot, upload that to my story. Then I would have to go find the link to the Etsy pattern or find the link to my YouTube video and put that in that same story. And it was just so much work to get one little thing, one announcement across. And it's not that I just had to do that once, I had to do that continuously. Because like I said in my last video, Instagram is not an evergreen platform. So if you want to make it work for you, you constantly have to be pushing, you have to be plugging the same products, plugging the same links over and over and over. And don't forget, Instagram stories only last for 24 hours. So basically it's this never-ending cycle of constantly plugging your content, your YouTube videos, your Etsy links, your Pinterest, whatever it is you want to share on there, you gotta link the heck out of, basically, to get seen or to get people to do what you want to do. And so it felt like I constantly had to put things on a silver platter right in front of them all the time. And I just feel so good because I'm not doing that anymore. Like, yeah, it feels weird that I'm not doing it at all, but like, it just feels good. Overall, it felt like I had to have this super tight grip on my audience to be able to get them to wherever I wanted to go, but not only like to my sales or to my YouTube videos, but I also had to do other things on Instagram, because Instagram isn't just like a basic search engine, it's a social media platform. And if you're on there to sell, you can't just sell, because nobody wants that, nobody likes that. You also have to inspire, you have to educate, you have to inform, you have to entertain, And so it's like, not only am I selling, which takes up my creative energy and my creative juice to create those products, to create those YouTube videos, but also I have to entertain, I have to inspire, I have to educate, I have to do all these extra things that don't necessarily get me sales. I know they build up a good community, but for me, it was just like overkill on all of my energy being sucked into it. And now that I've left, I feel like I have this overflow, this good amount of creative juice that's coming back to me, and it feels like my tank is being filled back up, which I have really been enjoying this past week. So with all that being said, I'm honestly feeling pretty dang great. I feel like I lost a part of my business, an unnecessary part of my business that I had been carrying around for the past 4 years. And the reason I say it's unnecessary is because I am selling on Etsy, which is a search engine in and of itself. So I totally believe you can put your listings on Etsy. You can sell 100% through Etsy. You don't have to have other social media platforms to try and attract people there. You definitely can to help support it, but for me, I'm content leaving it in Etsy's hand, but I also have plans to kind of do something else, which I'll talk about later in this video. And I feel like since leaving Instagram and saying goodbye to my audience, I gave myself permission to do a couple different things. And the first thing I gave myself permission to do was permission to disconnect from my business. So since leaving, I feel like I am no longer St. Rogers Street. Like, I'm just Kylie who owns St. Rogers Street. And honestly, I don't want to be my brand. I don't want to be St. Rogers Street. Like, I just want to be me. And that honestly, it feels so freeing. I also feel like it gave me permission to take a backseat in my business. So when I think of my hand embroidery business, it's not something like, I don't want St. Rogers Street to be my everything, to be my all, or to be my new 9-to-5 job. What I want St. Rogers Street to be is a fun, creative outlet that I can work on in my free time when I feel like it. And so that can look like picking it up in some seasons of life or letting it take a back seat in other seasons just because of where I'm at and I'm too busy and I can't pick it up. And so kind of the idea behind it is, over time and over the years, as I feel like it, as I'm enjoying it, as I'm feeling creative, to create new patterns is to create passive income, or at least fairly passive income that can bring me money while I'm also pursuing other creative endeavors, while I'm enjoying time with my family, or while I'm working on new side hustles. I don't want St. Rogers Street to be my everything. I want it to be one thing, and then I think I'm gonna also work on like building up some other things to help supplement that, to increase my income. But right now, like, I'm really grateful for the about $350 it brings in every month to my income because of the work I have put in, because of the patterns I've added. I have that money that's coming in my bank account, which is either like 100% passive or somewhat passive. It depends on what's purchased. But for me, I like that. That works for me. I have other things I want to work on, and St. Rogers Street is simply just one of those. If you're interested in hearing more about kind of the financial side of it and making that $300 a month, you can check out this video linked above as I go more in depth in that. And lastly, I feel like it gave me permission to be creatively free and do whatever the heck I want. So whenever I was on Instagram, it felt like I had to fit into the seasons. If it was summer, winter, fall, I needed to be posting that content, and nobody really likes it if it's June, summer, and you're posting Christmas content. Like, you can't do that on Instagram. And so now that I'm not in that bubble and I don't have to publicize what I'm doing, I can make whatever the heck I want. So right now it's March. If I want to be making fall embroidery patterns, like, I feel like I totally can if I'm feeling the energy and the creativity for that, and I'm not going to get any judgment for that because I'm not really announcing it to anyone. I don't have an audience for that, and I don't have to plan according to the different seasons. And anyways, whenever I would plan according to those seasons, so let's say it was kind of the end of the summer, you need to start sharing your autumn and fall content or patterns. It felt like it kind of sucked the joy out of those seasons for me, because it was still summer, but yet I was focused on fall, and I was trying to promote those products to sell them. But at the same time, like on a personal level, it was like, I wish I could just sit here in summer and enjoy it. Like, I live in Canada. It doesn't last for super long, so I just want to soak it up. I don't want to be so heavily focused on the next season. And anyways, it was just kind of annoying on Instagram, because you have all these debates of like, do we start promoting now or later? And like, oh my gosh, are you already sharing your Christmas content? I'm so annoyed with you. I'm unfollowing you. Like, just these stupid like judgments, arguments. And it's like, I don't want any part of that. Like, I want to leave that behind, and I'm happy to do that. So whatever I feel like doing, I'm gonna do. If I want to make a Christmas pattern tomorrow, I'll make a Christmas pattern. If I want to make a fall pattern, I'll make a fall pattern. A summer pattern, and I don't have to have any judgment for that, and I don't have to like be preparing my audience or making these reels and content that gets you in the mood for that, because like I am right now in spring, gearing up into summer. I want to enjoy that, even if my creativity is leading me towards like an idea for the fall. I just don't have to let that consume my brain. So yeah, I'm just feeling pretty free creatively, which I am super excited about, because this is just going to be so new for me in my business, being away from Instagram, being able to be free creatively, being able to disconnect from my business, set myself aside and apart from it, and also being able to let it take a back seat whenever it does need to take a back seat. So I'm really excited for my business going forward, even though it does feel quite a bit different. And honestly, I feel like this is what St. Rogers Street should have been from the start, if I had started out strategically. When I started out my business, it was just for fun, a little side gig I did in my free time that I enjoyed, and there was no strategy. It was just purely for fun. But over time, I did morph it into like trying to make income from it. And along the way, I should have honestly ditched Instagram a long time ago, just because it was not working for me. And I feel like I did it just because it was the thing to do. Like, if you have a small business, automatically you should hop on Instagram, which at the time when I was starting was the thing to do. But today, obviously, if you go back and watch that video, it's not working for me. So yeah. So I guess I'm kind of going back to the start of St. Rogers Street, whenever only my friends and family knew about it, and I was out here on my own with the Etsy search engine. So that's where I'm headed, that's where I'm going, that is what I am content with, and I'm honestly excited for it to be free in those different areas that I mentioned. But like I did say in the beginning of this video, I do feel a little bit weird of making new products without having somebody to share them with other than my husband. It feels weird. And so I want to do something kind of to replace my efforts I had on Instagram. It won't be as nearly as much effort as Instagram, but I do plan on jumping back into pinning on Pinterest, which is just another platform where I can market my business. Now, I will say I already do have a Pinterest account. I started it a couple years ago. I've just fallen out of routine of pinning to it, and so I'm going to jump back into that, because I have seen the power of what Pinterest can do for my Etsy shop. I think it was about 2 years ago, I had an Etsy pin that went viral on there, and it was really cool because I was getting sales for it like every other day for a couple months, and it really boosted that pattern. That pattern is still like my #1 bestseller. I get sales for it like throughout the year, and so I kind of want to try and replicate that with some other patterns. And unlike Instagram, where you have to constantly be linking your products, linking your YouTube videos over and over again on stories so people can find them, on Pinterest, You have to upload one photo, and to that photo you add your one link and you post it. It goes out into the Pinterest world of aesthetic, inspiration, and hopefully sales. So that's what I'm going to do. So much less effort, and I do want to bring you along for that journey because I feel like Pinterest is quite unique. Contrary to popular belief, it's actually not a social media platform, it's a search engine like Etsy. And so I want to bring you along because it's so unlike what Instagram is. It honestly feels so refreshing and the perfect place if you're an introvert. You never have to show your face. You just get your Etsy shop on there and it's great. So I'm going to bring you along because while I do have some experience like pinning to Pinterest, it is just like so unique and weird and different from Instagram that it's like, I think like I do know what I'm doing, but at the same time, it kind of feels like I don't really know what I'm doing, but also it has its own algorithm that's changed over the years. And so I want to bring you along to my strategy and how I'm going to be using Pinterest at a very beginner level. I don't think I plan on using Tailwind, so it's going to be all manual, I think. And I'm just going to share with you my journey on there, and I'm going to show you on my screen exactly what I'm doing, showing you step by step, so that if you want to join me in this journey of ditching Instagram and hopping onto Pinterest, I hope you will join me and we can just journey on together. Whenever that video is available, it will show up here in this end screen. But until then, my friends, I hope you have a good week and enjoy your own business planning. I hope this was insightful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!